What do you fear most? Now, don't answer right away. But get your agreement straight, because once you say what you fear most, then we can roll. If you don't, or if you be evasive, or if you give an answer that's not logical, based on your power, all right? Because, see, they don't have the power to control the genetics once the sexual intercourse happens. They don't have the power to control what that baby's going to look like. They admit to that themselves. So that's what we say that the fear is, see? But now, if they go anywhere outside of that, we just say, okay, all you're doing is just announcing that you want to continue these things as they are, and we don't intend for it to continue as it is, even though right now we don't know what to do about it, but we will consider you from now on as a person not to be talked to about anything that has to do with this issue. There's no longer any dialogue about this. Racial discussions with you are over. You no longer participate with us in anything that has to do with race. We are taking our agenda and completely discounting anything that you have to say on it. You no longer, as far the non-white people of this planet, unlike Van Dunn or someplace like that, their conference in 1955.
They're also non-white people. They're Europeans. That is what I stress, that you've got to stop calling them white, because white is a racial construct. It's not a ethnicity. So therefore, it is a fake category that they use when they come from the Europe, I should say, not the United States, but when they come from Europe to the United States. In the airspace, when they enter the United States air zone, they turn white. So they deny who they are to create a fake white majority. And this has failed them. This is the reason that they're trying to build a wall. My reason for showing you this is that this is something you have to know in this day and time. It's very important, because it's getting closer and closer to them becoming that minority that they told you. What they didn't tell you is that they're going extinct, and they've been lying that we've been genociding them out. That was the reason I took up this topic. And I've been going on this topic for a couple of years and arguing with them with it as well. And I'm now starting to bring it to you because I'm pretty sure that we're getting there with them, especially seeing they're trying to cage us in with the wall. And so we need to pay attention to what's going on around us. We're studying ourselves because we're going back trying to find our history and who we are in this. But we cannot not continue to study these people and look at them and follow their behavior and research their rhetoric and what they're saying. So I'm going to show you another document after this video. I probably won't play this whole video. I'll get to the point where I turn it off, and then I will go to the document that I want to show you.
And the Durban conference, which you recently had, you're no longer participating. You're no longer legitimate to participate in what's going to happen on this planet as far as the colors are concerned. You don't have a voice anymore. Now, they're going to take that. Or in other words, well, you are just saying that we are in a state of war. Damn right. You got that right.
Psychological war.
We have to take and stop being timid about it.
It's a psychological warfare because they don't have the population to lose to go into a alt-full war.
I've got some white people that I'm meeting with, and I want to know how much work should I put into getting information and answers from them?
Well, you get information. You're sitting with some white people, right? And you say, what's your greatest fear?
What's your greatest fear? That's the question.
I'm interested. What is your...
And let them answer you.
What is your greatest fear in relationship to people of color?
Yeah.
What's your greatest fear in relationship
and tell them please don't make such a long conversation.
They might
Hey, now you're presupposing.
Wait a minute.
You're presupposing what they're going to say.
Wait a minute. if they say they might kill us, they're talking about a power that is other than ours. The non-white people don't have weapons. You see, so if they think that they can be eliminated, they got to be talking at another level. You could say, surely you're not talking about weapons. Surely you're not talking about money.
Yeah, I guess what I'm asking is, participating in this thing with these white people to get information, or is it a waste?
Well, no, you can talk to them, but I wouldn't talk to them and get a headache. If you go there expecting that they're going to give you some information that you don't already have. You see, you are. I'm trying to pull out. No, you should go there with being interested in their responses.
See, the thing about you, they're not trying to pull nothing out. You're asking a flat-out question, just like a subpoena.
See, it's like it's as though you're saying they are going to give you an answer that is superior to the answers that we already have on the table.
I'm wondering if they might know something about how the system of racism and white supremacy works.
That's another question.
No.
That's another.
All you got to do is find what is their greatest fear where black people, non-white people, are concerned. I thought and
So this is what I'm talking about. I get the backlash that I'm lying all the time from Europeans. But this article is very recent. It's January 15th of 2019. The date. Goodbye, America. White births below replacement level in every state. What have I been telling you? What's going to be shocking is what you see next, because I've been calling it just that. Now they're admitting it. The wall is being sought after, and they're given all of these fake reasons why the wall is being sought after. But in the last video, I showed you the Euro population worldwide, because the European population speaks for itself worldwide, and its pattern of births that they have. The African worldometer also speaks for the African population worldwide, and how the pattern on their fertility and birth is being interfered with in the United States, with them killing our young people and killing our people off the way they are, and saying that it's not murder, that it's self-defense. Well, the reason why they're calling this self-defense, extinction ahead. Behold, the end game of multiculturalism, the final solution. Oh God, what did I do there? Okay, the final solution to America's race problem. This is not some random, inexplicable event. It is engineered demographic replacement, genocide by any other name. What did I tell you? How could it be genocide when it's your fault? How could it be genocide when white women go, or European women go and get abortions? How could it be genocide when Europeans have been killing themselves by the thousands and thousands off of opiates and heroin and fentanyl? How could this be genocide when there's no wars against Europe or Europeans anywhere? How could that be? I think what happened here, when I go back and think about it, 1964, when the Civil Rights Act was signed, they had so many Europeans coming into this country. It was, disbarred to other countries because they weren't allowing other people to come in here, because they were building with Europeans a racial construct called white people, because white people don't exist. So how could it be genocide by any other name when you're saying it is engineered demographic replacement? No. The demographics has to do with fertility birth rates. It has nothing to do with it does have something to do with replacement. It has nothing to do with genocide. The problem is that you're dying faster than you're being born. People are dying out naturally. Nobody's being killed, but you're not having any children. And that's what is going on with the Euro population. I might go ahead and click into that. Let me see if I can get myself going here. I think my computer kind of slowed down there. Okay, there we go. Data. White American births below replacement in every state. What does that have to do with engineered demographic replacement, genocide by any other name? The United States birth rates remained well below replacement levels needed as white American births plummet in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Come on now. What am I doing here? Okay. Pushing the wrong button there. Okay. New federal data released by the Center of Disease Control reveals that American women are having less and less children needed to sustain the current population. It's not American. We already spoke of which group of women this is. We're not going to let you get away with now saying American women, because it's not American women. See, Europeans aren't the only Americans. So you try to use this to try to make it look like an umbrella over all the women. But it clearly said white American births. That's Europeans. So that's not American women. That's Euro-American women are having less and less children needed to sustain the current population. In 2017, all but 2 states in the country had birth rates below replacement levels. The total U.S. birth rate was about 1.765 children per woman. That is not true. It is between Mexicans, it is 1.7. African Americans are 1.7, but Euro women are about 0.6%, the same as Europe, as I showed you on the Worldometer population chart. That comes from the United Nations. In all 50 states in the District of Columbia, we go back to white women had births below replacement level. So that's why I told you that was a false number. They're misleading you in some of the information that they're putting. Then they'll say American women, and then they start making you feel like you're part of that. The highest birth rates among women were those living in Utah. The white birth rate in Utah was about 2 children per woman. So there goes the map of the United States. And in all 50 states except for the state of Utah so far, they said that they had declining births below replacement in 50 states of the United States. And then they clearly comment, they label it as white women which are European ancestry. And when we look across the whole globe, across the world, this is happening across the whole world. And it's been happening for a very, very long time. But they're just now coming out with it because it is critical. It is critical. Between 1955 to 1960, the U.S. birth rate peaked nearly 3.6 children being born per woman. Demographers predict, based on current trends, for the U.S. birth rates to remain below replacement level into the year 2100. That's where we are almost now. We are almost at 2021. I just like to show those things there because it kind of hits on to further reading. U.S. immigrant population hits records 4.7 million. We hate white children, says anti-Trumps. You see that? We probably need to look at that one. Because like I told you, this is all what Trump is about. It will reveal itself when you start studying them. Statistics show white births are not mixing with others. White Brits are not mixing with others, because they are against race mixing and they won't survive this planet. Then we have hashtag demographics, fertility level, the Great Replacement, and White Genocide. The Great Replacement is this, that when people are dying and you're not having births, that means you're not replacing yourself. That has nothing to do with anybody else. That's why you say no replacement. Because if you don't have any children, you don't have anybody to replace yourselves. You like to send out these vague, obscure, lying ass messages, and you try to write it where we think we're part of it, but I know we're not. Okay? America needs about 2 million fewer. America needs about 2 million fewer Americas. And here's exactly why. You see where we're getting to? That they want to get rid of people. You see why they're killing our men? William Luther Pierce, flawlesslogic.com. A white world. What do you think that means? These are the comments, okay? I've gotten through that article. It went really fast. We need to stop funding other populations and spend that money on ourselves by promoting larger families and increased birth rates. What does that tell you? Okay, I'm going to hold this video. I think we have enough time to go to another article. Now we've gotten to the Trump campaign and why all these criminal acts occurred, why Russia helped, because Russia is in a serious decline in their populations. Russia is right now below the replacement line themselves, and they are at the bottom of the bell curve because although they're not below the zero line, they're below the line that they've dipped into extinction. This is the coup between Trump and Putin. This is it right here. I believe I can listen to this and I can play it on this little radio thing here, but let me go down and so we can look at this. We hate white children. Cindy, hashtag only off whites. The Stop Donald Trump Public Action Committee, a group which opposes the presidency of Donald Trump, has tweeted, "We hate white children, only off whites." Well, that's a propaganda post, and that is also a post put up by one of them so that they could feed into this information. This is what they do online. They create this scenario and then they go and make a black profile, a Mexican profile, and then they start talking through that voice of this face. They've got a brown face and they've got a black face, and then they're arguing with each other but using our faces. It happens all the time on Facebook and other social medias that we're having these discussions. They were responding to a tweet which said, "All of your principles lead to America that doesn't include white children." Response to their tweets have ranged from agreements to calling the group anti-white. "I agree. Hate those crackers," one Twitter account said. That's not how you spell crackers. Another post said, "Finally, you conservative anti-whites, show your true colors." I don't know why they got that bar there. Sorry about that. Of course they hate white children. Children are the future, and they don't want the future to have white people in it. How is that when you're the one not having children? The universe may not want you in it because you've done so much to its beautiful world and planet and environment. You've done so much to try to destroy it. Collectively, anti-whites have forced diversity on white countries. America is not a white country. This is not a white country. White doesn't exist. It's a racial construct. This agenda is very clearly white genocide, written in red right there. Told you they were accusing us of genocide. That is the reason I got involved in this topic. This may sound, this may sound eye-rolling, over the top, but actually the legal definition of genocide states that genocide is nothing more than an agenda to get rid of a group. You got rid of yourself. In short, it does not have to be violent or involve rounding up people and putting them in camps. Yes, it does. The anti-white elites hope to eliminate white areas with what they call diversity that fits the definition of genocide. Who are these anti-white elites? Are they too also Europeans and white? Hmm? Hmm? The following is an excerpt from the Convention of the Prevention and Punishment of Genocide. Article, this is, they go to this and they're so illiterate they don't know what it says. In the present convention, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy. With an intent to destroy, nobody has done anything to you to destroy you, so there was no intent. In whole or part, there was nothing in whole or part that destroyed you, a nation, ethnic, racial, or religious group as such. There's no wars in America. There's no genocide threat in America or worldwide, Europe, anywhere in any of the European countries. Irrelevant. A, killing members of a group. Irrelevant. Causing serious bodily harm or mental harm of the group. That's irrelevant. Deliberately conflicting the group's condition of life, calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or part. That's irrelevant. If that was true, and if it was such elites doing that, you have a native country to go to that you don't want to go to, because it's happening there too. So how is it happening? How is it genocide? Imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. You chose to have abortions. You chose to use heroin. You chose to use OxyContin, fentanyl, any drug you want, drinking, doing whatever you want. People are dying naturally. People are dying from accidents. Young people even die from, unfortunate reasons. And forcibly transferring children of one group to another, meaning that they're saying this is race mixing. Your woman chooses that, or your man that chooses to get with another ethnic group. Are you mad? Are you mad? Well, you can be mad because you know what? They're sustaining their lives because they know if they mix with us, then guess what? They're going to live. Article 3. The following acts shall be punishable. Genocide. No genocide going on. So the punishment for us is that you're going to give us is put us behind a wall to preserve white supremacy. What you call white supremacy from your fake white construct, because you are Europeans. You came from Europe. It doesn't matter if your ancestor came here 100 years ago. You're still European. The conspiracy to commit genocide. Irrelevant, not happening. Direct and public incitement to commit genocide. That's not happening. Attempt to commit genocide. That's not happening. Complicity to genocide. Blame yourself. If this happened, you did this to yourself. You were killing members of the group by abortion, causing serious bodily or mentally harms of members of the group when you kill yourself and take drugs, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or part, using drugs and opiates and ODing from them, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, abortion, forcibly transferring children of the group into another, admixing races. The following shall be punishable. genocide, conspiracy to commit genocide, direct and public incitement to commit genocide, attempt to commit genocide, complicity of just genocide, all are oxymoronic. Illogical fallacies that you would use the genocide code. And so, as I said, we've come to the end of this particular ad, and this one tagged Donald Trump, White Genocide. Migration replacement is another article there. I'm going to go look at those and see if there's anyone else I want to read. Hold on. So as I said, I started out here. And this is the very same document, or it led to this National Vanguard. They went from extinction is ahead to actually tagging it as genocide. So I want that to be there. I want this noted in the middle of this video or near the end, because I'm going to go to a video and probably let this video end. Inside of a video, I'm actually might go back to that fear of white annihilation video.
See, the global white minority realize that for them to genetically survive on planet Earth, they have to have control over all of the non-white people. Why is that Dr. Francis Welsing continuing to beat on the drum about racism?
I don't know why that came out kind of blurred like that, but it'll clear up.
Even though it is an evil and an injustice to see hanging nooses, I'm glad that they are appearing, because it is an opportunity for us to get oriented. You see, those of us who were hoping that the problem had disappeared. You see, but if a problem is not solved, it continues to resurface. You see, so we are not only seeing Jenna, Louisiana, we are also seeing nooses being hung everywhere. And we are also seeing an individual who recently won the Nobel Prize, James Watson, you see, of great scientific fame, come out and openly state that black people are genetically inferior in terms of intelligence compared to white people. And I'm happy about that.
Because we don't prove you wrong.
When he was confronted, he said he didn't know why those words came out of his mouth.
Because we're going to prove you wrong.
I need to invite him to my office. Because it wasn't long ago, although it's been decades ago, that I debated another Nobel Prize laureate, Dr. William Shockley, the person who won the Nobel Prize for inventing the transistor. And he was going around in the 1970s talking about black people were genetically inferior compared to white people. When I had written a paper that I presented in 1970 at the National Medical Association, because then some of my colleagues were talking about racism. And I had written a paper talking about why do people who classify themselves as white have to demean and degrade black people's genetics.
Because they're not white, they're Europeans, and they're a dying race.
And that paper was entitled The Press Theory of
Said
Cultural
non-biasly and humbly
Racism
said,
and White Supremacy.
because it's a fact.
And in that paper, I talked about the fact that when people who classify themselves as white keep saying something is wrong with black people's genetics, see, three of their fingers are pointing back at themselves. And I didn't invent any genetics.
I'm going to be right back. Population, it looks like they're going between 0% here on this lower line and 1% on that upper line. Looks like I broke my screen, so I'm trying to hurry up and get through this because I got some stuff I just want to express. So here we go right here. That is that lower line of 0.0, 0.5, and here we are at 1. So what are the percentages of the population growth? Back in 1952, it was 0.98%. Well, I'll tell you up front that. Sorry about this is blurred, but that says 0.98%. And right now, they're still not at the 0.1. They're at 98, which is a small drop of being at that 0.1. Now here they have, in 1954, they have 1.02% growth in their population. As we go farther here, you begin to see a drop, 0.78, 0.66, 1968, 1972, 0.63. As we can see, this is a drag on of a decline. And before we get down all the way here, in 1986, we're at 0.4% population growth. And as I stated, you need 2.1 in order to maintain a population. Before we get down here, this is the bell curve. Now they talk about the bell curve going this way. I'm going to use the bell curve theory a different way. So we're going to talk. Francis Wilson Crescent just talked about Charles Murray's bell curve theory. And this is the upside down bell curve theory about the survival, the acuity to survive the planet, and where the Europeans have dropped off down here, and within the timeline of where we are between, I'm going to say this is about 1996 on up to the end of this line at 2018. When we get down here, right here is what I'm looking at. You see that bell curve? They said that we had a low IQ level. Well, IQ has to do with acuity. Sorry about holding that. And acuity means intelligence. In order to survive the planet, you must be intelligent. It is the most important thing that sustains what we are on the planet. Proven white lie. Oh, God. You ever heard about what? Let me get back up where I was. Hold on. Now, when I say that, they get all unglued. They're upset. But you can go on YouTube right now and put in the subject white extinction. And if you want the propaganda lies because they know that it's true, just to confirm that it's true, go enter the term white genocide. Or I prefer to use the term European extinction and European genocide. But as we can see here, they drop off the bell curve right here because the line is here. Sorry about the shaking the camera here. A little more here, come on down. I'm trying to make sure that you can see that line. And that number, 0.32, 0.27, 0.18, 0.08, 1995, 1996, 0.02. 0.02 in 1990, what was that, 96? In 1997, they dropped to minus. Did you see that? It goes below the bell curve. It says minus. Right here. Minus 0.3. Minus 0.3. Where they try to twist it on population control and are you guys sure that you can, handle a war? Because look where you are. You're below the bell curve right here. You're below that 0.0 line. Are you sure you want to engage in a war? Because you keep threatening us like you want a race war. Okay. So I just want to show you that because you don't have the population to lose. It would be more illogical and illiteracy on your behalf to be trying to think of how you could preserve yourselves when if you all were to go back to where you had come from, you would be a large population. I read earlier that Eastern Europe was very large in their population before they started migrating across the world and trying to claim other people's lands and call themselves white, which started in the 1700s. So, okay, you've done so much damage to yourselves that you want to blame us for a genocide, but that's not going to work. Conservation, no. They're going extinct, and they're very upset with the fact that we are not. So this is where we're going to find the racial problem. And I'm going to show you that. We're going to get the hatred coming right here. So in this period of time between 1997 and 1998, they have a minus. This says minus 0.05%. We are below the line. We are down below the line. There's hardly any people being born during that period of time that are Europeans. Oftentimes they're counting migrants as their growth rate as well. We need to notice the timeline that we're in is not the end of the 90s, and we're in the 20s. We're about to enter the 20s, and we're at 2019 now. So I want you to note that in your head, this timeline I'm talking about. European migrants, so that they could say they're white. In the year 2000, they were still at minus 0.02%. I was blocked out of Twitter. Facebook doesn't like it either. And I start talking about Euro extinction. But I didn't create the topic. And so I'm not being biased. I'm not being racist. I'm showing you what's going on. Something that you need to pay very close attention to. And then, okay, we get up here, they start to ascend, and they put up to 0.14% in 2005 and 2006, 0.17%. 2007, it dropped again to 0.2%. And so we get here, it's 2008, 0.21%. And then, bam, drops out this census report that whites are going to be a minority, which they really mean Europeans, because we're looking at the Euro population. And it's consistent to what they're saying. There is no white population to guide this by. It's consistent to what they're saying, to where they're saying that they are white. But when we go to the Euro population, that is where they're from. It's only 0.21. We need a 2. That 2 should be up here, and that 1 should be right here. So this is a problem for them. they see the steady decline in birth rate. Got about 2 more minutes before I cut this off. Than are being born. So, if you haven't heard that, just enter it into your computer and look at what it says. Okay, now in 2015, they're at 0.08%. 2016, 0.09%. 2017, 0.08%. 2018, we're still at 2018, they're still at 0.08%. Today in 2019, that has dropped by 0.2%, and it is in 2019, it is at currently 0.06% and heading back towards the zero. Thank you for watching my video. I'm trying to educate our people on what is going on with the wall, the reasoning for the wall. And it's a continuance of white supremacy, which is an illegal act. And it is their end game. And this is why they want this wall to be built. And it can't happen because we don't want to be caged in with people that have a tendency to be barbarians. And have a president like Donald Trump who's so racist. And so this is it. So thank you so much for listening.